last night. A vision. I saw a world full of people. Everybody was dancing and screaming loud. They were just there to listen to the music. It was deep. It was underground. Let's turn the world into a dance floor.
Are you guys ready for a state of trance? Put your hands in the air, come on!
This is a State of Trance podcast.
Hey, what's up? My name is Ruben Ronde and welcome to a new episode of the State of Trance podcast. Within the studio today, Tim van Wert.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, we just enjoyed a very nice guest mix that you did on the regular episode of State of Trance, of course.
Yeah, thanks.
With a couple of nice surprises in there. We're going to talk about that as well. But first of all, I want to start at the very start. Why and how did you start making music or DJing at first?
Well, I started making music when I was, I think, 1 or 2 years old. My father is a professional drummer and a conductor. He's playing for orchestras and theaters and musicals. So when I could play earlier the drums and then walking, I was just sitting with my father and he teach me how to drum. And then later on, he asked me like, okay, I'm gonna bring you to an orchestra, and then you're gonna tell me like, what do you want to play, what instrument? Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, I really want to play the trombone.
Okay.
But then a week later, he came with a really small trumpet, and I was like so disappointed. And he said, no, the trombone is really heavy, and it's not for you right now. You have to grow. So I started playing the trumpet, and I still do it today. I still play at an orchestra, and I take that as inspiration for my music as well.
Oh, so besides making music, you're still in an orchestra as well?
Yeah.
With one of those big trombones right now?
No,
or with a trumpet?
That's still the trumpet.
Okay.
I stick to the trumpet. I also do it for my songs. I record the trumpet and also the drums and the piano, which makes my songs really organic, I guess. But to come back to your question, when I was, I think, 15 years old, I started DJing in the clubs.
Okay.
I wasn't even allowed to get in, but it really helped me to discover the trance scene and the house scene. Mm-hmm. And then I was, I guess, 17 or 18 years old when I studied at a graphic school.
Yeah.
But then I was painting and doing motion stuff. And I was like, no, this is not something for me. I really want to do something in music, but I wasn't really sure what. Like, do I have to choose for playing the trumpet professionally or DJing? But if you're not making music as a DJ, then you don't have something unique at this time.
Very true, yeah.
So I started downloading FL. It's a software program for making music, and I started recording the trumpet together with some house loops. And then I was like, okay, I just go for it. I sent an email to a school called Herman Brood Academy, mm-hmm. And then they invited me to come over and to talk. And then after 4 rounds, I have to come 4 times back. They said, oh, we're gonna apply you to this to the academy, and that's really the best thing for in my career. What happened, because since then everything changed, and I started making a career in the music industry.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going back to when you were 15, when you started DJ. What triggered you to become a DJ? Like, what drew you into dance music? Because you're coming from an orchestra, family, I would say, and then suddenly you're in the house scene.
Well, that time you had record shops, and I was in the city with my mom, and she said, "Oh, you can pick one or whatever you like, and you could just take a headphone and listen to some samples of the CDs." And I guess it was Radio 538 compilation or Slam or something. Yeah. And there were tracks from Armin on it and Ferry Corsten and it was the Ben Liebrand.
The year mix.
The year mix, the green one. Uh-huh. And that triggered me to DJ. So I was playing these songs as well on these clubs when I was 15. Besides Latin house, and I was playing everything.
Yeah.
And that's actually crazy because I started playing a lot of different genres. And since 1 year or 2 years, I really know what I want to play and what I want to make, especially.
Yeah, because your first releases, you started releasing in 2015 already. So you're already 7 years in.
Yeah.
Almost 8 years. But you started out with releases on Fedde Le Grand's label, Dark Light, of course.
Yeah.
What was it for you to become like a new artist and going into the scene like that, approaching these big labels? How did you manage to have your music listened to by them?
I guess the school helped a lot because I was making a lot of music, but I always had in mind like, okay, if the A&R from a good record label is not signing my music, then it's not good enough. So I was always waiting for that moment to get signed to a record label. And someday there was a masterclass on our school from they're called Rule and Doors. They were really big at that time, especially in Latin house, and they were signing their songs at some point at Revealed. So they were changing their Latin house sound into more progressive. It was a really nice combination, and I was doing that actually. So they invited me at theirs. I was pitching my music to them, to Rule and Doors at the school.
Yeah,
and then we worked it. They liked the song, and we worked it out together. And so my first release was on Revealed Recordings, and also my introduction there. And from that point, I started sending more stuff, and they signed it. And from there on, I was going to other record labels like Dark Light and Protocol Recordings, and now Our Mind.
Awesome. Well, I want to go back to the moment you started going to the Herman Brood Academy, because we had some other people, like Laura van Dam, for example, was here in the studio. She went to SAE, and that was the first time I actually spoke with a newer generation like yourself that actually went to school to learn the trade of becoming a dance producer or a DJ. Because, our old farts like me, we just grew up and there was no such a thing. Yeah. So I'm very intrigued, like, what does the education look like? Do you go to school and you walk into the classroom and there's a rave going on, or do you walk into the classroom?
Sometimes there were actually raves there.
Yeah,
but it's really there. It's not only for making house music. There are also bands and singers and guitar players, and you're also learning the Dutch and English and other normal things you would learn on school.
What kind of courses do you get in a school like that? Because it's a university level program, right? So
no, it was MBO. I don't know.
MBO. Okay.
Well, we learned actually. We had some. I don't know what it was called, but we had rec. It's called rec mode, and then you're learning how to produce stuff, or you have 1 hour of learning equalizing.
Yeah,
and then you get an exam of equalizing. Literally, the equalizing is changing the frequency. The frequencies,
so you have a spectrum.
Yeah. For the listeners that don't into producing, but also leveling and mixing and mastering and how to record instruments or record vocalists.
Yeah,
all sorts of things. But also DJing for, I guess, 1 hour a week, and also performing. It's like the whole package. So also how to get signed to a record label.
So wait a minute, performing. So they put you behind the turntable and they say like, okay, at this moment you have to put your hands up and you have to take the microphone, or
really? Exactly. They said like, okay, we were going to the club with your class, and then you have to perform, and then they at some point they gave you feedback, like it was a plus or minor, and sometimes to me they said you're looking too much to the DJ controller. You have to look to the audience. And it depends on the style actually. But it's also with music. There are no rules in making music. That's the most important thing, I guess. I learned on school that rule number one: there are no rules.
100%. That's very true.
That's also with performing, because sometimes DJ set can be really interesting if you see someone being really into the music and playing with the records and mixing and doing stuff live.
Yeah, you can't compare James Hype to There's like a world of different in there. Yeah,
exactly. And with some acts, you expect them to throw cakes or something. It's a different, but it's a different way of performing. But yeah.
So today, class, we're gonna throw some cakes, and then you get rated 1 to 10.
I'm hungry though, but
no, I think it's super interesting because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of inspiring producers and DJs listening to this podcast as well, and this is such a different way of becoming a professional like you are as well. So you learn the producing and DJ side of thing, but also the business side of thing, right?
Yeah, that's actually also really important.
Yeah.
Nowadays there are a lot of tutorials and courses you can follow. So I don't say you really need to go to a school for it.
Yeah.
But it can really help because you're in a class with so many people that are really into the music, and everyone wants to learn because it's like from making your hobby your career.
It's the ultimate dream, I guess.
Yeah, but it's not for everyone. A lot of classmates are still in the music industry, but they are become an A&R or working somewhere else on a record label. So it's more of learning how the music industry works. Then, but you can also I have a lot of classmates who are producing for other artists as well.
Okay.
And that's what I do as well. Besides making, I just like to make music.
Yeah.
If it's for my own name or for someone else, I just want to be in the studio every day.
That's awesome. And for example, Martin Garrix and Julian Jordan, Boas on the Beats, also went to the. That's cool. So it's a lot of really like big alumni coming from there. Are you still in touch with some of these people as well, that like former classmates that you maybe work together, or maybe some vocalists or songwriters that you still work with?
Nowadays, no, actually not. There are a lot of guys are really into the techno, and I'm still more the melodic techno house guy. But we also have, I was in a class with Disturb. He's a really big hardstyle guy right now, which is really nice. So it's really nice to see your classmates doing so well and flying all around the world.
That's awesome,
and yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I remember that we had a masterclass with the Herman Brood Academy also here, because I think Mark Otte was part of...
Otte.
Yeah, Mark Otte was there also, and he used to work here at Armada Music. And I remember we had a full studio with students. Nice. And I think that was about 2014, 15. So every single one of these students was making EDM.
Yeah,
like it was all big room stuff. And then I guess if you have students 3 years later, everybody was like Martin Garrix. Or
exactly, yeah.
Is this something that you notice as well on the students?
I was in the same year that Martin Garrix studied, so that it wasn't blown up, like the school wasn't blown up, because at that time that Martin Garrix was on our school, everyone wanted to join this school, of course.
Yeah.
But he was never on school, actually.
No.
But the teachers told us, like, okay, if he can do his exams on a private jet, then you can do it here on the school as well. So
very true.
Also inspiring.
That's awesome. But I guess, well, you guys are like really good ambassadors of a school like that, I guess.
But yeah, what you tell that Armada invites the school here as well, but also other schools. There was we went to like ADE and all other record labels, and we had master classes which were really inspiring. So I think that's also a thing of the Dutch culture in the music industry, what everyone's talking about. Like every DJ and artist is helping each other.
Yeah,
and that's makes it still that the DJs in the Netherlands are doing well, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's a good point that you address, because I really notice the same as well. Because whenever you go to, also all the Dutch artists really support each other. I guess instead of maybe it's a bad example, but the American artists, at least is what I feel like, are more competing with each other. And then you see Dutch DJs are getting along, like Afrojack and Nico Ramiro doing their set at AMF, and well, there's a lot of examples like that. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
What I want to talk about right now is, well, how did you get into because you have a big relationship with Protocol Recordings.
Yeah, exactly.
How did that come about?
I was going to a lot of Protocol Recordings parties, and they inspired me a lot, especially Nick with his music. And I was sending so much music to them that at some point they were saying, okay, you come over and show us your new music. And that was like the turn point for me. I was at some point last year, I released, I guess, 6 or 7 songs there. And we did a tour. I was playing on his, is it called a pre-program that I played?
Yeah, like a warm-up.
Warm-up stuff. And people were actually buying tickets to see me, which is really nice. So
they were like, okay, we're here for Tim. Nicky is starting? Okay,
yeah, they were leaving. But that's actually really nice to see that from the music that you make in your bedroom studio to the clubs and flying over the world. That's amazing. And now here playing a set at A State of Trance, that's a new, real milestone.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Because, you said it earlier that when you started listening to music, you were listening to Armin, and now, you're on the studio, I guess.
Yeah. But especially with the State of Trance fans, I think my music fits even better at a trance radio station like here.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm loving it. I'm really curious what the fans are thinking about my music.
Well, I'm loving it, and I'm a good example, I guess, for a fan of this radio show as well. So,
Great.
I have a couple of questions also that Nina helped out with, of course. She wants to know, what would you describe yourself? Would you be a producer or a DJ or both?
For now, 100% producer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like it to be in the studio for every day. I love it so much, and I'm still learning every day from other producers. I'm just educating myself. That's like what we talked about the Herman Brood Academy. It's not. It doesn't stop there. It's not that you know everything.
No, it's just a start.
Yeah, it's a start because I'm still learning how to play the trumpet to be more professional with it. But also my mixes. I still take mixes from Joris Voorn and Ilke Klein, and I compare my music with it. And I'm trying to be also a producer, but also a mixing and master engineer. I just try to do everything myself and be the best with what I can do with my music. So you never, I'm still learning every day, and I'm following courses and.
Awesome. So you're one of those guys, when you go to a party, you'll stand in the corner and you're like, hey, how did he do this LFO thing?
And sometimes I go to parties with producer friends, and I'm like, oh my God, the low end is way too muddy, and stuff like that. And everyone is jumping. They're like so angry, like, oh, but the low end is so muddy. How can these people dance with it?
Yeah, I know. I have the same. I have the problem as well. Like, and then people come up to you, aren't you having fun? Yes, of course I'm having fun. I'm just listening to how everything is created by this.
And at some point, you see people are getting beer because it's boring. And then I'm like, oh my God, this intro is so good.
Yeah,
it's way different of listening and feeling music.
What is your ultimate dream collaboration?
Ooh, I think Joris Voorn right now, or Jotto. I think these are the guys I'm listening at right now. But also, I actually did a really nice collaboration right now. It's not out yet, but it's with a trumpet player from the Metropole Orchestra. The Metropole Orchestra is one of the best orchestras in the world.
Yeah.
Here in the Netherlands, and
Armin performed with them when Willem-Alexander became our king.
Yeah,
nice. Crowning,
that was so cool. And now I've asked Rick Mol. He's the lead trumpet player there, and we recorded a song together, and it's so beautiful. It's like an orchestrated song together with house, and it blends really nice. So,
okay, that's something to look forward to hear, I guess. And a question that came in also from Instagram through Elena69 Luca and Rita Nicole both. What was the ultimate inspiration that got you involved with music? Like what was the track? Maybe let's switch it that way. What was the track?
I don't think it was a track. I think being in a family where everyone is into music, you're always getting inspired. Because I'm listening to beside house music, I'm also listening to classical songs. I go to jazz concerts, R&B, hip hop, soul. I listen to everything that has kind of a soul to it.
And everything you listen to, you take out little bits and pieces and incorporate it in your own music.
Yeah, well, maybe I think I'm already doing that but not. I'm just listening at music, and sometimes I get inspired by chords or something, or an arrangement or structure, but not literally taking something from a song. But yeah, it's more a vibe or something, or a feeling that
There's always inspiration.
Yeah.
If you hear something like a certain chord progression, you're like, hey, that's nice.
But I also get inspired by mixes. Then maybe it's not a really commercial song, but if I listen to a Joris Voorn track or Artbot, where Jotto, where the mixes and masters are so good and so clean, then I get inspired for. That helps me so much to create my songs, and I really can compare it and try to get even better. That's what I'm doing every day.
So it motivates you.
Yeah, it motivates me a lot.
I guess other people get demotivated by it because you listen to it, you're like, these guys are so good.
Yeah, I was trying to I guess copy a song of I guess it was Jotto or so. I'm sometimes I do that as education for myself. I try to copy and recreate the song.
Yeah.
So I know, okay, he is mixing it this way, but in one track that Jotto made, I couldn't figure it out. So if he's listening, please send me the template of the project. So good.
Is that something that you want to do in the future as well? Like maybe, well, you've been to school like the Herman Brood Academy, would you like to be a tutor in the future as well?
Well, during COVID, I did some masterclasses at the Herman Brood Academy, and I've recorded also some tutorials on YouTube, which I'm explaining, where I'm explaining how I produce it, how I mix it. I'm showing my plugins, how I work with artists, how I record. So I'm already doing that.
Awesome. What is the number one tip that you give to someone that's new into the music industry?
Just start playing music. And I think for the most people, it helps if you play an instrument, which is not really necessarily, especially in some genres in techno. It's just more about the feeling than about the chords and the chord progression. But for me, it helps to work with instruments but also collaborate. That really helps.
Yeah.
So don't be that guy that's only making music with it just alone and release it just alone. Just try to collaborate with a lot of people. But also what I'm doing right now, I'm learning a lot with recording a live trumpet player, which I never did before. And he has so much. It's like a different world of recording stuff.
Yeah.
Like you have in a trumpet, you have a shell, and if you blow it right into the microphone, you will get a cracky sound. So you have to bend a little bit, so the airwaves are coming from different directions and stuff. That's really interesting. So work together with other people. I think that's
definitely a good tip, because that's how you learn new techniques as well, especially if you work in the same DAW. So, for example, you work in Fruity Loops, and if you work with someone that's a little bit more experienced than you, and you can share the project file together, then you suddenly see how someone uses the EQ or compressing or something like that.
Yeah.
More nerd questions right now. What is your favorite plugin right now?
It's the reference from Mix Masters. I guess it's just if you Google a reference plugin, you can drag your the track you like from someone else. So, for example, I drag your phone track into it, and then you're gonna compare it. It's just A and Bing with the song you like, and then you're gonna level it, and you can see the metering and the levels of that song, and also the dynamics. And if you're going to mix it a little bit the same way, then you at some point you get a flat line, so you know it sounds exactly the same as his song, mixing wise.
Yeah.
And that helped me a lot also, because I haven't played on that big festivals or that many clubs, because these guys know, okay, if I do too much in the lower hand, it will sound muddy or something like that. But this plugin really helps to literally see how it, how he recorded it or how he mixed it.
It's the plugin to compare your own music to the music of other people.
Because I think nowadays the Logic plugins are amazing already. You don't need that fancy, expensive stuff. Nowadays, when I started producing music, I had like 10,000 plugins, and I didn't know what to choose.
Yeah.
And I deleted everything, and I bought plugins. Like now I have maybe 100 plugins or 200 plugins, but I know what I'm going to use. Because if you buy your plugins and you're going to really dig into it, then you know, okay, this is what it can do.
It's very true. Yeah.
And nowadays I'm more investing in samples and recording with artists. And last week I was in the Whistle Art Studios to record live strings. And I think it's better to invest in that stuff than buying a lot of plugins and then don't know what plugin to use.
Yeah, invest in good songs and singer-songwriters.
But also promotion.
Yeah.
It's better to promote in that kind of stuff than buying fancy stuff or new studio desk and something.
Yeah, I think you have a good point there, because, for example, if you dive into the world of a serum or a diva, you can basically create anything you want.
Exactly, yeah.
Instead of buying the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Well, this week it's Thanksgiving, which means also that it's Cyber Week or whatever it's called, Black Friday. Yeah. Do you have a list of stuff that you want to buy or no?
I love all the samples from Spitfire.
Okay.
In Contact, they're so good, like the orchestras and the live percussion. But now, I've bought a lot of stuff the last couple of months. Enough is enough.
I agree with you. So coming down to this, you released, of course, with Armind the track with Diana Miro. You already spilled the beans a little bit that you worked on a follow-up with her as well.
Yeah.
What else can we expect for you in the next few months?
Well, I've been in the studio a lot, and now now it's just like I have, well, let's say 15 songs that are ready to release, and now I'm into the pitching. How do you say that?
The pitching phase.
Phase, yeah. And then, okay, what label fits best? Maybe we're gonna start my own record label, which we're working on right now. But yeah, that's something we are figuring out right now. For now, I've released a lot of songs this year, and I'm visiting radio stations, and now it's just a matter of time when we're gonna plan everything. But hopefully January, February.
How do you decide certain songs which you're going to pitch where? Like, for example, you make a tune like you did with Diana Miro. You were discussing with your team, with your management, like, hey, this is a good fit for this label, or that's a good fit for that one, or how does it go?
With the song with Diana, she mentioned like maybe Armada or Mind is a good idea. So we sent it over, and immediately the A&R assigned it. So that was really nice.
Good call, Diana.
Yeah, and now it's a matter of time when we're gonna release new music on Our Mind or Armada. We're talking about it right now.
Awesome.
Well,
I'm looking forward to a lot more music, and I'm pretty sure we have to get you back next year somewhere for another guest mix, because I'm a big fan of your sound, and I remember the reason why you're here, I guess, because Amsterdam Dance Event, you played before me at Slam FM.
Yeah.
And I came in and I was like, this is nice. Oh, it's Tim. Oh, we were supposed to get him.
Yeah, and it was really early. It was like at 9 in the morning.
I remember walking in. And my feet were sticking to the floor because there was a party last night.
It was on Friday, so there were already parties on Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
And then it was Friday.
Smelled like beer.
Yeah, it was smelling like beer. And everyone was saying that my sound was really, really good for waking up.
Yeah.
But I hope that my music will be played on bigger festivals as well.
Of course, man. Of course. You have a bright future ahead of you. Thank you so much, Tim, for answering all these questions. Where can people find you on socials?
Everything, and it's /Tim van Werd.
Okay.
TIMVANWERD.
Okay, nice. Well, thank you so much for answering all these questions.
Thanks for having me.
See you next time for another. Next time, the podcast is going to be here in the studio once again. If you want to see who's going to be here, make sure to check out astateoftrance.com. See you then. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in. To check full episodes of A State of Trance for free, simply visit arminradio.com. A State of Trance returns next week.